Hello and welcome to biology class. We are studying kingdom Animalia, and in this topic we are studying classification of different animals. So kingdom Animalia is basically classified into phylums, and in this topic basically we are going to study characteristics of each phylum in details. So far in previous videos we have studied many different phylums, and today we will continue our discussion with the next phylum, that is Phylum Arthropoda. Now, according to me, Arthropoda is the most interesting phylum among all other different phylums. Now, why Arthropoda is so interesting? The first thing is that this phylum includes highest number of animals. Okay. Now suppose I consider all the animals like 100%, all the animals which are present on the earth, or kingdom Animalia I consider 100%, then among them 80% come only under this phylum and remaining 20% are all other phylums. So phylum Arthropoda include large number of animals first of all. Then secondly, in this phylum basically very different type of animals are there. There are like every animal is different from the other. So let us first consider few examples of Arthropoda, and then we'll study each characteristic of Arthropoda in detail, because every characteristic is having so many diversities in this phylum. So let us begin with the Arthropoda. Now first example of Arthropoda, which is very familiar example to us, that is nothing but spiders. Remember, spider, scorpion kind of animals come under Arthropoda. The second example is even crab. Now aquatic animals like crab, prawns, those are also coming under Arthropoda. Then another example, which is very familiar example for the Arthropoda, is this cockroach. Now remember, cockroach and along with all other insects also included in Arthropoda, like honeybee come under Arthropoda, termite come under Arthropoda, butterflies come under Arthropoda, then different beetles which are roaming around the plant, those are also come under Arthropoda. Okay, the next example are, these are little bit less familiar examples of Arthropoda, which are called as this organism is, or this animal is called as a centipede, and this animal is called as millipede. Now these we can see, basically millipedes we see in rainy season in large numbers. Basically they gather together and walking here and there during rainy season. So it is very commonly seen animal during rainy season. And the centipede is basically, we found it in a moist forest, inside the forest, and it is basically poisonous. Millipede is not poisonous. Millipede is not at all poisonous. It do not have any toxin, any poison in it. But centipede is poisonous. Okay. Now the next animals included in this Arthropoda are this king crab. This king crab means limulus. If you remember in the first topic when we studied diversity in living organism, I have shown you the picture of this limulus. Now it is abundantly found in our ocean. In basically Chennai side, it is very abundantly found, and this is considered as among oldest animals on earth. So it is also coming under Arthropoda. Now next animal which is coming under Arthropoda are this is a picture of lobster. Lobsters come under Arthropoda. Then different type of prawns come under Arthropoda. So there are several different animals basically coming under Arthropoda. So now, what are the common things in all these animals? First, let us try to understand why such a diverse animals are included in only one phylum. First, try to understand its meaning. Now, if you see this picture, okay, there is a spider, there is a crab, there is a cockroach, and even this centipede, millipede. But these diagrams are very small, so right now we will not consider this centipede and millipede. We will consider these three animals: spider, crab, and cockroach. If you observe their legs carefully, see legs of spider, there are 8 legs, but observe them properly. Even legs of this crab and even legs of cockroach. You will find a common thing in it. What is common thing? What you can see common things in its leg? all legs, like legs in all these animals are basically are jointed legs, means there are separate parts and they join to form their legs. So arthro basically means joint. Arthro means what? Joint. And poda means basically foot or leg. See, arthro means joint. Here we will consider jointed. And poda means basically it translates to foot, but here we will consider it as a leg. So the animals with jointed legs come under arthropoda. If you see any animal which is coming under arthropoda, whether it is scorpion, whether it is spider, whether it is prawn, whether these are small animals like centipede and millipedes, they are also, every one of them are having jointed legs. That's why all of them come under same phylum. But as large number of animals are included in this phylum, their characteristics are also very diverse. So let us go and study each characteristic in details. So the next, so let us begin with the characteristics of arthropoda. Now first characteristic is, which I just explained you, arthro means jointed and poda means legs. So animals with jointed legs are included in arthropoda. Now next characteristic is around 80% of total animals are included in this phylum. Then they are little bit advanced animals who show organ system level of organization. Means basically these animals are having digestive system, they are having nervous system, they are having all different kind of system. So whatever animals we have studied previously, arthropoda are comparatively advanced phylum. So next characteristic is that almost all of them show bilateral symmetry. Like crab is showing bilateral symmetry, spider is showing bilateral symmetry. Every other animal in the arthropoda show bilateral symmetry. Then they are a triploblastic animal, means 3 germ layers. Which are those? Ectoderm, mesoderm and endoderm. Now next one, very important characteristic. Now these are basically pseudocoelomate animals. But if you remember, when I taught you about coelom, I taught you about one more term called as hemocoelomate. Now hemocoelomate are the animals who are basically pseudocoelomate, but their coelomic cavity is filled with a fluid called as hemocoel. Okay. So basically these animals are hemocoelomate animals, and hemocoel is their body fluid. Now these animals show tube within tube body plan, means digestive system is having 2 opening. It is having clear cut mouth in the head and clear cut anus on the other end of the body. So digestive system is complete with mouth and anus. Okay, there are few more characteristics about digestive system. We will study them ahead. So first, remember these 7 characteristics which are very important. Arthropoda, jointed legs, 80% of the animals are included. Then bilaterally symmetrical, triploblastic, hemocoelomate and tube within tube body plan. Now one more thing which is not given in your book, but you need to remember it. See, when we consider arthropoda, different animals of arthropoda can stay in any environment. Suppose we enter in the marine water, that is aquatic environment, whether it is river or whether it is sea water, we will find a different type of arthropoda. For example, prawns, crabs staying in fresh water as well as staying in marine water. Okay. Suppose I go in deep forest, I'll find centipede, I'll find millipede, I'll find different type of spiders, different type of scorpions. Okay, if we go in grassland, we find different type of insects. Okay, so in all the habitat we can find arthropoda. So that's why they are like sometimes they are called as omnipresent. What does they are called as? Their habitat, they can stay everywhere on the earth, so they are called as they are called as omnipresent. Basically, only God is said to be omnipresent, but that same characteristic is even applied to the arthropoda because they can stay in all the different habitats. Now next characteristic is about its skeleton. Now if you see crab, if you see prawn, if you see insects, every arthropod is covered by the skeleton above its body. Exo means outside, skeleton means skeleton, framework, supportive framework. So the skeleton is always covering its body, present on the outside of its body, and this exoskeleton is called as sclerite. What does the exoskeleton is called as? Sclerite. It is made up of different kind of cuticle, okay, so it is called as sclerite. And sclerite is generally tough, okay. If you see the covering of cockroach, covering of any other insect, okay, or covering of even crab, even covering of any other arthropoda, it is tough covering. So that tough covering never grew. What happened? That tough covering never grew. Now just imagine, when crab was small, okay, that time he was having small exoskeleton. Now but internal body is growing, so now that small exoskeleton is not sufficient. So that time crab will just throw off that outer covering. What crab will do? Crab will just throw out that outer covering, and this throwing out of outer covering is called as molding or ecdysis. Even cockroaches do it, then all insects do it, even beetles do it. So this process of molding allow the animal to grow, and during the molding, new covering is also, new sclerite covering, new exoskeleton is also developed around its body, and then eventually it become hardened. Understanding? So this is molding or ecdysis is the very special characteristic of arthropoda. Now next characteristic is about its body division. Now body usually divided into three parts. When we see cockroach, there is a head, there is a thorax from where the wings come out, and there will be the abdomen. So body is divided usually into three parts: head, thorax and abdomen. But on the other hand, when you see crab, okay, crab body don't show head, correct? Don't show different abdomen. So likewise, in case of crab, the body is divided into only two parts. In this animal, basically head and thorax fuse with one another to form a combination of head and thorax, which is called as cephalothorax. Whatever crab body, whatever crab backside we see, that is basically cephalothorax. Even in prawns, whatever eyes are upward and downward, whatever we see, it is a cephalothorax, and abdomen is also present. Understanding? So body division either into three parts or into two parts. Three parts: head, thorax and abdomen, while two parts: cephalothorax and abdomen. Clear about it? Let us go to the next point. First 9 points are clear. I am going little faster, but it will be helpful for you to understand it in a quick way. Next thing is about its mouth part. Now we just talked about the different habitats of the arthropoda. So likewise, like its habitat, food habits of, that is mode of living of different arthropoda is different. For example, prawns and crab capture their food and eat it. Agree? So it need to cut the food and eat it. Okay. Next thing is that mosquito, which is also coming under arthropoda, mosquitoes suck our blood. What mosquito do? Suck our blood. On the other hand, honeybee collect nectar. Agree? On the other hand, housefly do, it sit on the food, it dissolve that food and then suck it. So likewise, as food habits of every arthropod is different, its mouth parts are also different and adjusted according to its food habit. Understanding? So, for example, here I have taken only two examples because many examples will be overwhelming for you. So, mouth parts are chewing type, cutting and chewing type in case of cockroach. Cockroach is also just eating food like us. It cut the food with the help of mouth and eat it. Then piercing and sucking type in case of mosquito. Mosquito sit on our skin, it pierces its snout inside our skin and then suck the blood. Understanding? Now next important thing about the arthropoda is their appendages. Now appendages are, what are appendages? Appendages are the body outgrowth which help to capture food, which help to run, etc. etc. So arthropoda are provided with large number of appendages. They are the one who are having jointed legs, well developed legs for the first time. Then in the kingdom Animalia, then they are having antenna. Okay, they are having different type of appendages. Okay, they are having wings even for flying. Now and appendages serve differently. Their modifications are also different. For example, in honeybees, its legs, hind legs are modified for the pollen collection. They collect pollen grains and then help it to convert it into honey, as well as they spread those pollen grain from one flower to another flower, which help in the cross pollination. So likewise in grasshopper, it jump. So its appendages, that is legs, are modified for jumping. Here in honeybee, they are modified for the collection of pollen grain. So different for in the case of cockroach, they are modified for running. In case of prawns, they are modified for swimming. Likewise, different modification of legs and legs are observed. Then their body wall means they are having all different kind of muscles, and these are the first animals to show voluntary muscles. Means whenever they want to fly, their voluntary muscles will get activated and it will help the animal to fly. Now next one is respiration. Now respiration is in different ways, because see, the animals are having different habitats. So according to their habitat, their respiration should get adjusted. So in some cases, in some arthropods, there are gills. Like crab, there are gills. In prawns, there are gills. In case of insects, basically cockroach, honeybee, the butterflies, they are having trachea. And some, like scorpion, they are having lungs. The scorpion is provided with special lungs called as book lungs. Their lungs look like book lungs. Understanding? Then next one is their excretion. The aquatic form, like cockroach, Next about excretion. The aquatic form, like prawns, like crab, they are aminotelic in nature. Ammonia is an excretory product, and terrestrial form, they are uricotelic. Now tell me, what is uricotelic? How they excrete ammonium waste product? In the form of, yes, in the form of uric acid, correct? Uric acid is solid and require very less water to throw out waste material. Clear about it? Let us go to the next point. See, so many 14 points we have studied. So let us go to the 15th. Now circulatory system, remember, along with the jointed legs, it is having, all the arthropods are having one more characteristic is common, that is they are always having open circulatory system. All arthropods are provided with open circulatory system, and they are having blood called as hemolymph. Now their nervous system is a little bit advanced nervous system. Like earthworm, they are also having ganglionated nervous system. 1 ganglion, 2 ganglion, 3 ganglion, 4th ganglion, likewise in the head region. Then they will be having nerve cord. Okay, there will be one more nerve ring at the posterior side, as well as ganglions. One more thing is that whatever nerve cord, this nerve cord is also having ganglion. So ganglionated nerve cord is the specific characteristic in insects. In the further chapters, we are going to study cockroach in details. That time you will understand how exactly they are having ganglionated nervous system. The next thing is about, they are the first animals to show endocrine system. Do you know what is endocrine system? Endocrine system means hormones. They show presence of hormones. They secrete some hormones which are responsible for their growth, which are responsible for their reproduction, etc. But in case of previous, any phylum is not known to show endocrine system. Understanding? So this is very specific characteristic of the arthropoda. Now next thing, very specially like arthropoda are very gifted animals. Basically they are gifted with lot of senses. Their sense organs are better than human being. Now whatever senses we also don't have, they are the one who are having these senses. Now for example, see, they are having antenna. Antenna is basically detect environmental changes as well as what danger is there in the environment, whether climate is changing or something. Everything will be detected by antenna. Now many arthropods are having compound eyes. Now best example of compound eyes is the butterfly. All the insects are basically having compound eyes. Now compound eyes are very good in detection of color. Okay, so basically butterfly can see more color than human being. Then next one is that aquatic form like prawns are provided with statocyst, a sense organ called as statocyst, and statocyst is very important because it is hydrostatic organ. Means it it maintain balance of that prawn in the water. It will never get imbalance in the water and sink down. It will maintain that balance, and for that it is having statocyst. Then others have antenna. Even cockroach and others are well known for their taste receptors, and their taste receptors are basically located at the at the tip of their legs. Okay, so they are having taste receptors. Some are like cicada like insect, they are having very nice sound receptors. So likewise these organs are gifted with sense organs. Now next thing is about their reproduction. Now many arthropoda are unisexual, means male and female different, and even we can by looking at them we can recognize which is female and which is male. Then fertilization is mostly external in case of prawns, but sometimes it is internal also, like in all insects it is internal. Then development may be direct. In cockroach, for direct development example we have studied about cockroach, and indirect development we have studied about butterfly. So butterfly is having that larva, then cocoon, and finally we get that adult. Understanding? So let us go for examples. Crab, prawn, spider, scorpion, mite, centipedes, all these are examples of arthropoda. So this is all about arthropoda, and we have studied many things about arthropoda. Remember, this is very important phylum in the kingdom Animalia. With this knowledge, we will go ahead to study the next phylum. Till then, goodbye, take care.